Tonight, my topic tonight is going to be let's talk finances with Victoria Mutual Group, and it is interesting to talk about this because people in the diaspora are so much interested in what's going on in Jamaica. Jamaica is like a hot topic, but I tend to want to take away from some of the things which are happening in Jamaica and just bring it home to us with some of the real things, and that Jamaica is a safe place. Last night I had a show which was the talking about how safe is Jamaica to invest. And I had Dr. Andrea Horton and Jean Laurie Chin. And one of the interesting things is about that Jamaica is an exciting place and so much great things. And tonight, what I'm going to have is Mr. Courtney Campbell. Mr. Courtney Campbell is the president of Victoria Mutual. And if I can read up a bit more about Mr. Courtney Campbell, and here we are. If I can find it, Mr. Courtney Campbell is the CEO of Victoria Mutual Finance. And also, what I'm going to have as well is Mr. Rez Burchenson. Here we are, Mr. Rez Burchenson. He's going to be coming on tonight. I'm going to bring them on right away, and they can speak more about themselves as well. And we're going to get straight into it as well. So first of all, let me bring on Mr. Courtney Campbell. Sir Courtney Campbell, how are you doing, sir?
I'm giving thanks. Good to be with you and with all your viewers on Facebook,
yes,
and YouTube.
Fantastic. I see Mr. Rez Burchenson is there, but he's slightly off. So I will wait for him to come back again. So how are you, sir? First of all,
I'm great. It's warmer in Jamaica than it is in the UK right now. So we appreciate our weather.
Yes.
And God is good.
Yes.
We're thanks for this opportunity to be with you and to share with your viewers on what's happening in the Jamaican financial sector.
Yes. Let me get Mr. Burchenson. Rez, how are you, sir?
Hi, Silburn. How are you doing?
I hear that your name, Burchenson, is a money man name, so I must stick to call you Rez.
Happy New Year, Silburn, and Happy New Year to your listeners.
Happy New Year to you. Okay. Well, listen, I've got lots of people who are tuning into the show, and they're going to be tuning in tonight. Those are going to be coming live, and some are going to watch it after. So that's the most important thing. I will try to be very succinct. Victoria Mutual recently have a rebranding which is called VM. And then you're into a restructuring, Mr. Courtney Campbell. And if you can sort of break that down for me as to the rebranding and the restructuring, because we all grew up. Everybody from Pitney days, and even Charmaine McConnell from Ochi, straight out of Ochi. Of course, my say Ochi. I always say, you need to keep your account in Ochi still. So therefore, we all know about Victoria Mutual Building Society. Tell us about the VM.
Great. So as you said, Victoria Mutual Building Society is well known. It's an iconic name in Jamaica. We were actually established 144 years ago on November the 14th, 1878. So our 144th birthday was November 14, 2022. For most of that period, we operated as a building society, and that's a mutual building society. However, in the 1980s, we started a diversification of our products and business lines. And so we started a wealth management business. Eventually, we had a pension business, a money transfer business. We had representative offices in the UK. We started a property services business. So we're a well diversified financial group. We now have investments in general insurance. So what we realized a few years ago is that many people in the market, many customers, did not realize, because we're so well known for residential mortgages and savings, many did not realize that we also offer these other products: wealth management, pensions, property services, money transfer, and so on, corporate finance through our wealth management. So the best way to fix that, we thought, was a rebranding, to introduce some new brand elements to
Mm.
help people to understand that this is no longer VM Building Society, but it is VM Group, a
Yeah.
strong integrated financial group offering a wide range of services to individuals and to businesses. Because even within the building society,
Yeah.
we're no longer serving just individuals with residential mortgages. We're serving businesses with commercial mortgages,
Mm.
uh, business operating accounts, business online banking, foreign exchange trading. In VM Wealth Management, we're doing corporate finance, portfolio management,
Yes.
equity trading. We have a wide range of unit trust portfolios. So we wanted to ensure that the market. So in November 2021, we introduced these new brand elements. New name, VM
Yes.
Group. New color, the grapefruit red that you see being displayed this afternoon by
Yes.
Rez and myself. Uh, the new tagline, transform your everyday, right?
Yes.
So all of these come together to represent the new wine skin for the new wine
Yes.
that was there.
Okay. Okay. Well, I tell you what, I'm just gonna change my thing to your colors now. Can I see my colors? Is that,
Yes, looking good.
am I with?
Looking good.
Okay. So I'm with the
That's that.
program
No,
then. I'm with the program.
congrats.
I'm with the
Let's do that.
program then.
Silburn, you have been transformed.
I've been transformed. I need to have changed. Maybe get my kid to change my kerchief now.
You have been transformed, my friend. So
Awesome.
so so
Mm.
so that's the first step. That's what happened in November 2021, and we have been
Yeah.
promoting that. It has been well received. The response has been
Mm.
tremendous, overwhelmingly positive.
So
Then
yeah.
we have been working with the central bank for some time on the restructuring of the group, because the Banking Services Act that was passed by Parliament in 2014 required that any deposit taking institution, such as Victoria Mutual Building Society, that also has other financial service entities in the group, should actually now form as their immediate holding company a
Mm.
financial holding company.
Yes.
And also, if you have non-financial entities in the group, such as VM Property Services and or FinTech, VM Innovations, that those should be separated from the financial group. So as a result, we proposed to the central bank and to all members
Yes.
that we should restructure the group to establish two new companies. One, at the very top, a mutual holding company called VM Group, and
Okay.
immediately below that, VM Financial Group, that would now be the holding company for VM Building Society, VM Investments Limited, which owns VM Wealth, VM
Mm.
Pensions Management, VM Money Transfer, VM Finance, that is a UK-based company.
Yes.
Any, our shareholding in BCIC, the largest general insurance company in Jamaica. Any holding in a financial service regulated entity will be held going forward by VM Financial Group. And then the non-financial section of the group will be VM Innovations and VM Property Services for the time being. So what has happened with that is that we received the central bank approval for that organization last year, February. We subsequently received the approval of the members at a special general meeting in August of 2022. And then in November, we reported
Mm.
those results to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court gave approval for the restructuring. So we expect that to become functional now, operational in February of this year, which is just a few days away.
Yeah. So if I'm to say Victoria Mutual Finance, I shouldn't say that or just say VM.
Yeah, we're going with VM. It's a shorter, jazzier name, right?
Okay.
And more modern, so that that's a new wineskin. So let's please use that name, VM.
Okay.
It will,
VM.
I mean,
Ladies.
for some people, it will take some time,
Yes.
before that
Mm.
transition is made in their
Yes.
minds. But
Yes.
if influential people like Silburn say that, then others will get it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is now VM. Okay, let's
Yes,
get
sir.
it right. It's VM on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and those watching. It's VM, but actually, it's making it a stronger company as you're evolving into bigger things.
Yeah,
as much as possible.
because what this new structure will allow, it not only
Yeah.
compliance with the
Yes.
Banking Services Act, but it will allow us to accelerate our expansion plans. Because
Mm.
now that, when we're both DMBS as well as operating as a deposit taking institution, as well as the holding company for the group, we were
Mm.
constrained by the normal uh, restrictions placed on deposit taking institutions. So now that
Yes.
the holding company role has been separated from that of the deposit taking institution, it will allow
Mm.
for us to invest in partnerships, mergers, acquisitions, etc.
Yeah.
So our members will see an accelerated growth of the group in
Yes.
the years ahead. I mean, we'll always be careful, we'll always be conservative,
Yes.
but we will be able to take advantage of good opportunities that are out there for us in the
So
Caribbean.
VM Group. Okay, so VM Group. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's Mr. Courtney Campbell, who starts off with, who's the group president and chief executive officer, CEO of the VM Group, and previous tenures as CEO of Grace Kennedy Financial Group and First Global Bank, and many other things. And if I had to go further, the show would have done. So we have to just leave that for now. Let me go on to Mr. Burchenson. You're the senior vice president and member of the executive leadership team of VM Group and CEO of VM Investment Limited. If you can break that down for us, sir, and of course for your members as well.
Okay. Well, good evening again, or good afternoon again,
Mm.
Silver. Well, it's
Good
evening in
afternoon.
London. It's
Yes,
afternoon in Jamaica. Glad to be back. I think I was on
yes,
last year, October. We had a grand
yes,
time.
yes, 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 sir.
Always good to be back. So I'm in charge of the wealth management and
Mm.
investment arm of the VM Group, as Courtney said before. My responsibility spans VM Investments Limited. VM
Mm.
Investments Limited is listed on the Jamaica Stock Exchange, and our wholly owned subsidiary is VM Wealth Management.
Yes,
And then within the group, we also have a pensions division.
yes,
And again, that's under my responsibility. And in that unit, we do group plans, company plans for Jamaican companies, and we also do individual plans for persons who are living and working in Jamaica.
hmm. Okay, that's very interesting. And one of the things that I picked up on a lot, because when I mentioned that you guys were coming on, a lot of people were sending questions, and because of certain things which are happening in Jamaica. But I didn't want to take it down to what was happening in Jamaica. I want to really bring it home to Victoria Mutual Finance. And one of the questions that was coming through was, how safe are Jamaican money in your bank? And we're talking Victoria Mutual Finance, because the diaspora is also asking that question. Even though I must say, most persons that was coming on was saying we have that assurance with Victoria Mutual. At the same time, Victoria Mutual VM Group. But if you can break that down for me, sir, as to how safe, either yourself or Courtney, how safe are Jamaican money in your
Well,
bank? Yeah.
sure, no problem. Well, one distinction needs to be made.
Yes,
So
please.
we have the VM Billing Society. That arm is regulated by the central bank.
Hmm.
And in that division, we do savings and loans, etc. And then you have VM Wealth Management Limited, which is
Yes.
regulated by the FSC. But because we are a part of the VM group, there's also oversight provided by the central bank for VM Wealth Management. Okay, so let's talk about safety. It's very
Yes.
important to talk about safety at this time. And
Yes, sir.
one of the things I will say to the persons is that it's always important to ensure that whoever you deal with, that there is information provided. So on our
Mm.
websites, both VMBS, VM Investments Limited, you will see lots of financial information because we want to be very transparent about our financial affairs. So let's talk about VM Investments Limited, right? Because
Yes.
that's the broker dealer that owns VM Wealth Management.
Hmm.
So VM Investments Limited is actually listed on the Jamaica Stock Exchange. And that is very important. Why is that important? Because every quarter we have to file our financials with the Jamaica Stock Exchange. Um, Person get a chance to see our performance, our P&L, our balance sheet. They also get a chance to see how well we're doing in the community. I mean, our social responsibility. They also get updated in terms of what we're doing to grow our business, right? Our annual report is also a very, very important document. Annual report, we set out quite a bit of information about the organization, the board of directors and the competencies of the board, the management team and the respective competencies, what we're doing to manage and mitigate risk. And there is quite a bit of information which is provided in those reports about our risk management framework, our 3 lines of defense, that there is a board committee, an executive committee, and a management committee. And also to say that the issue of risk management is ongoing. There isn't review risk in January
Yes.
and nothing gets done until the next January. We have a very robust enterprise risk management framework across the group. So I also want to state that. Let me go one step further. We
Yes, sir.
have a suite of top performing unit trusts, perhaps Silburn in your jurisdiction. You may know them as mutual funds.
Yes.
Those products, which are our flagship products, those products are also regulated. But beyond that, one additional point to note is that those documents are also audited, and also stated on our website. So I say all that, Silburn, just to highlight to your listeners
Yes.
that our financial affairs are there for persons to look at. Person would have certainly known and grown accustomed to the prudence, the strength of VMBS, now called the VM Group. And one of the things that the executive team, led by Courtney, one thing that we do in the diaspora is that we
Yeah.
have listening tours. We go to last year, Silburn, as you know, we
Yeah.
were in town. We've been to Florida. We've been to New York. I think this year the plan is to try and go to Toronto. I'm talking the wider VM group to
Yes, sir.
speak to our constituents, take their questions, update them in terms of what we're doing in the group, and also what we're doing to manage risk, etc. So, I encourage our listeners to go to our website, but I'm quite sure they're assured based on the strength and history of the VM group.
Mr. Campbell, I've seen you. We have met a couple of times at the roadshow, which you come to the diaspora in the UK, because you're reaching out, and one of your strengths with VM Group is the diaspora as well. And of course, many persons are asking the questions, even though they have the assurance. How do you sort of protect? I think you sort of touched on it, Mr. Burchenson. But how does a diaspora have that confidence in your investment, protecting savers' money? If you can sort of set that out in a way.
Sure, sure, no problem. I think
Mm.
let's look at some numbers. First of all,
Yes. Mm.
Silburn, recall that Jamaica's financial sector has in fact benefited from significant regulatory reform
Yes, sir.
at the turn of the century. So we're talking about
Mm.
probably from about 2000, the year 2000, 1998 to 2000 through to now.
Yes.
More stringent controls on the activities of the financial institutions, greater power to the regulators, and very importantly, the introduction of deposit insurance. So the sector, whether we're speaking about deposit-taking institutions, commercial banks, building societies, merchant banks, or securities companies, pension funds, life insurance companies, the entire sector now is much more resilient and has really sustained strong performance through a couple of shocks recently. The international financial crisis of 2007, 2008. We have had 2 debt exchanges by Jamaican governments, one in 2010 and another one in 2013. And of course, the COVID-19 pandemic. So having passed through all of those, when the IMF team looked at the Jamaican financial sector last year, they made the point, this is independent from the International Monetary Fund, they made the point that our financial sector has remained well capitalized and liquid during the pandemic.
Yes.
So, Silburn, as at September last year, these are the latest figures from the central bank, the deposit taking institutions had a capital adequacy ratio of almost 14%, 13.8 to be exact, which is
Mm.
well above the regulatory minimum of 10%. We had a non-performing loan ratio for the industry of
Yes, sir.
2.5%. So, what you have there is a very healthy
Yes.
financial sector. The deposits are growing. Deposits grew for the year to September by 8.3%, for the previous
Mm.
year by 11.8%. We have 1.6 trillion uh, dollars, Jamaican dollars,
Yes.
in our deposit base now. That's about 9 billion pounds.
Yes.
9 billion pounds, right? Total capital in the system, 238 billion Jamaican dollars. That's about
Mm.
1.3 billion pounds. So that's just the deposit institutions. The
Yes.
non-deposit institutions are also very profitable, also stable. In fact, their capitalization ratio their capital adequacy ratio is actually
Mm.
higher than even the deposit taking institutions. So they have more than sufficient capitalization. So
Yeah.
I think what you have there is some information that can
Mm.
give really good assurance to the
Yes.
people in the diaspora. Now,
Yes.
with respect to VM, what you
Mm.
have is, you know, I won't add, I won't repeat what Rez said, but I'll just touch
Yes.
upon. What you have here is a 144-year institution with deposits ourselves of
Mm.
approximately 720 million pounds, right? Well capitalized, with a strong board of directors, the robust risk management framework that Red spoke about. So that's what you have, and I think, given the state of the industry,
Yeah.
as well as VM's own strong capital, I believe that people, have good reason to be assured that they are well protected.
I tell you what, I'm glad that we are doing this, and I'm glad that when I reached out to you, you were quickly apt to the whole concept, because
Yeah,
if we listen to what is coming out of Jamaica at any time, depending on what you're listening to, you think otherwise. And that's why my thinking is that, hey, I need to get to the root of this and to somehow stimulate not just positive for positive thing, but for real, for truth. They're speaking
yeah.
some truth at the same time. And some of the questions that some of the readers have asked is some simple things. Might look as simple, but is like, do you send out monthly emails to clients updating their accounts, or do you do you send out regular up to date on their accounts? You know?
And we do better than
Yeah.
that, actually.
Yeah.
We provide our customers with online access, so they don't have to wait until the end of the month. They are able
Yes.
to go on and to the system
Mm.
themselves, register for online facilities, online financial services, and see all their transactions
Yeah.
themselves, right? So they don't need the intervention of any team member. They don't need to wait on us to dispatch. And that happens in
Mm.
both the billing society, the wealth management business, as
Mm.
well as no pension funds, right? So, we encourage our people, call into our call center if you're not
Yes.
yet registered for online financial services. Get registered now, because after that you will be pretty independent.
Right. And you can actually tap into your account at any time and see whatever movements are happening there on
Absolutely.
your account.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rez, you're
Uh,
gonna say something. Sorry. Yes. Rez.
yeah, I want to kind of cut in
Mm.
right here because it's important. So, we've been speaking about how the business has been performing, how it's been growing, and how we have been updating our clients in terms of, the future plans of the business.
Mm.
One of the things that we mentioned last year on the roadshow was that in the, wealth management subsidiary, that
Mm.
we're, investing quite a bit to ensure that we are satisfying the needs of our customers.
Yes.
So, Courtney spoke about online financial services in the Building Society. In wealth management, we have a client management portal. A client management portal for persons who are registered, for persons who are clients of wealth management that don't have access, as Courtney said
Mm.
before. You really
Mm.
want to call in to get access. Why is that important? you will see all your statements going back 2 years on that platform. That's the first
Yeah.
thing. Secondly, you can track all your transactions on the platform, right? So you can see money is coming in, money is going out, where it's invested, etc. Thirdly, you can make transaction requests on the platform. So instead of saying, well, I don't want to email my wealth advisor for a transaction, you can on the portal in a very secure manner use that portal to make transaction requests. So we certainly encourage all our clients, based on what we've been reading, use the portal. The portal
Yeah.
isn't uploaded by one person; it's a system-generated portal that goes through many checks and balances. So it's one way that we're providing to our customers for them to track their investments. So I think the theme of the day is tracking your investments, and we have provided the requisite tools to allow our clients to do the same.
Yeah, that's very good. And another question also is insured. For argument's sake, your fund or accounts are insured, and to what extent are they insured? Um, Say, for instance, if someone or the account is messed up or whatever like that, can they have some sort of assurance as a result of such?
Okay, so you want to go, Courtney? You want to take VMBA? So
Yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah. Yes,
So
please.
what you
Yeah.
have there, the insurance, the deposit insurance that was instituted probably about 20 years ago, Silburn,
Mm,
is relevant if the institution fails. So if any deposit taking institution fails, that is the commercial banks, billing societies such as VM Billing Society or the merchant bank that we have here, depositors in those deposit taking institutions would benefit from deposit insurance that now covers up to 1.2 million Jamaican dollars per depositor per
yes.
institution. So what that means is that a depositor is Silburn Sidiel and Mrs. Sidiel, or
Mm.
Silburn Sidiel and your son. That's a different depositor.
And we have accounting notorious. There we are.
Right, that's correct. Uh, so you're covered with those two accounts
Yeah.
separately, and also if you have a separate account in another deposit institution, that's a third coverage that you have. So it's
Mm.
1.2 million J per depositor per institution. But you really want to look though before you get to that point to see how well is the institution being managed. And when you look at say all the institutions, we publish our financial statements every year, and then at the end of our financial year, and of course the central bank publishes the quarterly financial state, the quarterly balance sheet of
Yes.
each institution. And what you'll see is that VM, for example, has one of the lowest non-performing loan ratios in Jamaica. We're actually under 2%. You remember I said the market average is 2.5,
Yes, sir.
and we're actually under 2. So we're pretty conservative, ensure that our business is strong for the benefit of our depositors. So
Thank
Rez
you.
will tell you a bit now about the approach that is taken to ensuring that the investors in VM Wealth and other wealth management companies have good assurance.
okay, thanks, Courtney. Thanks, Silburn.
No
So
problem.
in the wealth management subsidiary in the financial services arm, what we do, so there is no deposit insurance, and because of that, there is an extra level of diligence which we do in conducting our affairs. Firstly, as I said before, for our mutual fund portfolios or unit trusts, those are audited, and that information is actually on our website. But even before we get there, the selection of investments that we make, those investments go through a particular governance process in the organization to ensure that we are selecting the appropriate investments. And we ensure that we keep up with market conditions. So, for example, there's a recession coming. A couple years ago, interest rates were on the rise. Just ensure that we provide the appropriate guidance to our clients in terms of what they should do to capitalize on opportunities that will present themselves in the future. So our wealth advisors have those conversations with our clients and provide the appropriate guidance accordingly.
Yeah. I want to go back quickly because I just saw a question here. It is relating to one of the questions I asked earlier about the updating people and that they can have access to the account, Mr. Campbell. What if not everybody is computer savvy? I know Leighton has responded to the person that they can call in. What would you say to persons generally if they're not computer savvy? Because like the diaspora, like people are going back to Jamaica, they're like elderly folks, if anything. They may not be the type that will go onto their computers. What would you say to persons like those?
Well, first of all, I
Mm,
think we do have some very, very patient uh, team members at our member
yes, sir.
engagement center who will be able to walk our members through the
Mm,
steps. I mean, it's fairly simple steps, but not everyone is computer savvy, as you have said. So
yeah.
our people understand that, and they have been walking our people through, taking them
Mm,
patiently through all the steps to get them registered. But if that doesn't work for you, please feel free to contact our local offices in the UK. At our Tottenham office, the number is 0208 801 6777. If you're in London, at our Brixton office,
yeah.
207 738 6799, and our Birmingham office is, of course, 0121 454 2020. So the idea is, please reach out to those local offices. They can take you
Mm,
through the steps if you're not able to spend the time on the phone with our member engagement center here in Jamaica, which, by the way, the toll-free access for
yes.
that is 0800, that's 0800 068
8627.
8627. That's
Yeah.
VMBS 8627. So that's
Yes.
0800 068 VMBS.
Yes. Okay. I've got the numbers there, and
Right? Toll free. Yeah,
yes, yes, and also there's a Canada and there's a USA one, and also the email is there as well, and the
absolutely.
website as well is there. Somebody just said to me, "I'm not elderly Sir Silver, but you know how far I am." I think he's in Canada.
Oh,
you
all
know.
right. Well, no, well, and the toll free number for Canada, if you're calling from Canada or the US, is 1-866-967 VMBS. That's
Mm,
88627. Right. So that's
yeah.
1-866-967
The
VMBS.
somebody just messaged me a while ago, and of course, because I come from all different angles regarding your new credit card facility, and that's now being offered in relation to security and fraud mitigation. I know, you know, sprung that on you. If and how do you relate to that regarding the security features as well?
Excellent. Very strong. We have
Mm,
the chip card,
yes.
and which is the highest level of security. But in addition to that, for transactions on our credit cards, as well as for using our debit card, we send alerts to our
Mm,
customers when transactions take place on their accounts. You'll see within seconds a text message and an email, confirming that a transaction has taken place on your account, and so that alerts you to take some action if you don't know about the transaction.
yeah.
So we
Well,
have some very you like that.
yeah, yeah, because in the UK here, I mean, for argument's sake, if you anybody touch your account or you take out money or whatever like that, you get an alert that says there's some activities there on your
Right.
account.
So
And
that's where we're doing that.
yes,
And
yes,
we have some very strong fraud detection mechanisms, because there's fraud all over the world. And in fact, most of the attempted cyber crime in Jamaica is actually perpetrated by those who are not even here. I mean, some of the people are thousands of miles away, Far East, Eastern Europe, etc. And they're trying to get into our systems, but we have some very robust systems that have worked very well so far. But we need the collaboration not only of our team members but also our members and clients to keep them at bay. I
yeah,
should also mention, Silburn, that the
sure,
VM group the VM group has a whistleblower facility by which team members can confidentially report anything wrong in case they're not comfortable raising it with their supervisor. If they're seeing anything in the system that's of concern, ideally, first step, raise it with your supervisor. But if not, by all means, we have established this whistleblower facility now that allows them to confidentially report any activities of concern.
How have you been able to sort of corner all these different areas, Mr. Campbell and Rez? Because in some of the questions which I want to ask you, like, is your supervision of the investment banking organizations are being monitored carefully and frequently indeed? And it seems like you have even answered that. But if you want to go into that a bit more, you know, could you? Because I think you've covered it in a way because of how you're covered yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll start and then Rez will pick up. I think,
Yeah.
first of all, we take responsibility so that we have a strong board, well diversified board
Mm,
with a wide range of skills, and we aim at delivering the very best in terms of our corporate governance practices. We have a robust risk management framework that was developed and implemented a few years ago and then subsequently revised because we don't want to take anything for granted. It was good, but we keep improving because there are new and emerging risks every day, right? So we want to ensure that we're staying on top of the wide range of risks. And then what we have done, Silburn, is to not only mark ourselves according to our performance indicators, but we
yes.
also hold ourselves accountable for meeting certain key risk indicators. So what
Yes.
you're finding in VM is that key risk indicators are just as important in terms of compliance as achieving the key performance indicators. So we start there by taking responsibilities. But beyond that, we are confident in the professionalism and competence of our supervisory authorities.
Yes.
They have contributed to the strength of the sector. I quoted some numbers earlier, and I think it's fair to say that our regulators have played their role in that. Um, I think I'm going to ask Resident to comment on the investment institutions and
Yes.
how closely they are supervised by the regulator.
And Rez, while you come on to that as well, you can even pick up on to restate the point on the insurance and investing as well.
Sure,
In
sure, no problem.
Yes, please. Yeah.
Okay, so Courtney mentioned earlier the fact that those institutions that are regulated by the Bank of Jamaica are required to file um, statements to the central bank periodically. The same
Yeah.
obtains for the financial services organizations. Um, and in terms of the monthly reporting, and similarly, just like Courtney mentioned about the risk management framework and the governance framework
Mm,
in the banking sector, that also obtains in the financial services units in terms of the strong boards, selection of the board, appropriate board training, um,
yes.
that's provided, that there are multiple layers in the organization that are installed or implemented to ensure that there is appropriate risk awareness and also fraud prevention. I want to go further to say
Mm,
that certainly there is lots of training taking place. For example, if you're an executive in a financial services unit, there are certain, and staff members, there are certain mandatory training
yes.
that we are required to go on for AML and POCA, etc. So it is a slew of governance steps that the financial services organizations
Mm,
go through. Courtney mentioned the fact that earlier about capitalization. We are also required to meet a particular regulatory ratio. There's
yes.
a capital to risk-weighted assets ratio. There's a capital to total assets ratio. And you'd have seen, a couple articles in the paper that says that we are way above the regulatory minimums. And
Yes.
certainly, we're required to file those indicators with the FSC every month. And periodically, we're all called into a meeting to say, well, how are we treating with future developments? So we take a very proactive step. So, for example, at the start of COVID, many institutions kind of sat down to say, well, this is a new norm. How do we ensure that we navigate? in 2008 in the financial sector crisis, something similar. So you're seeing lots of proactive steps being taken within the overall services sector, but also within VM wealth management.
Yeah, I want to go back further with you, Mr. Smith. And now that we have the confidence, Courtney Campbell, even though we had it already with VM Group, but Rez, how can people make direct contact with VM Wealth so they can invest back home? Because the stock exchange in Jamaica is one of the best, you know.
Sure.
But how can people go directly into VM Mutual and investment in your wealth investment sector, sir?
Sure. I mean, as Courtney said before, our
Mhm.
member engagement centers, actually, if you call if your member engagement center, 876-960-5000. If you
Mm.
call our rep offices in the States, they will take your number and put you onto us. So what we'll do is that we'll make contact and kind of walk you through the various products and services offered by the organization. One thing that I also want to highlight is that the Jamaica Stock Exchange have a platform called JTrader that wherever you are in the world, you can
Mm.
trade Jamaican stocks. A platform wherever you are in the world, you
Yes.
can buy and sell Jamaican stocks.
Give me that
And
number again. Give me that number again. I just want to put it on the screen. 876
876-960-5000.
960
5000.
5000. Okay. No
Okay.
problem. Carry
So,
on, sir.
so,
Yeah.
so, so you spoke about Seba and the fact that the Jamaican stock market has been doing very well. We
Mm.
certainly encourage all members, I mean, the 3 million Jamaicans here, the 3 million Jamaicans that live outside, that investing in Jamaican stocks, investing in IPOs is actually making impact, because what we're doing is providing capital for businesses that need the capital to grow. We have seen a number of IPOs last year, and I know that a number of clients from the diaspora did invest. So that to me is the members of the diaspora making impact um,
Yeah.
in terms of facilitating the growth
Mm.
of those companies.
And what's the minimum investment?
10,000 Jamaican dollars. Actually,
10.
Silver. So the
Yeah.
minimum account for VMWorth is 10,000, but you can trade Jamaican stocks for there's no minimum. You can sell one stock. You must sell one stock. You must trade
Yeah.
one stock. So if a stock is 10 cents, 50 cents, $80, the rules of
But,
the
but,
Jamaican
but
Stock
yeah.
Exchange.
But you still have to have an
They,
account, isn't it? You still have to have an
they must have an account. They must have an
you have an
account.
account. Okay. And also Mr. Campbell, there's a question sorry, Courtney Campbell. Question from Keith in Manchester. Is it sustainable for VM to have no fee card withdrawals from any other financial institutions ATM? I know it's Korea, but he put it
Keith,
from
Keith,
somebody else.
Keith, Keith, excellent question. Sounds as if you're in
Yeah.
our executive meetings. because, because we ourselves are wondering how long we're going to maintain that. But certainly, that's the current position. It's
Mm.
always under review. But what we encourage our members to do is that while this is the case, to take advantage of it. But more importantly, we're trying to roll out additional VM ABMs, and we're also in the process now of introducing to the market our VM International Debit Card,
Mm.
which would allow you to access your account from any ABM anywhere in the world. And we intend to implement that this year, 2023. So our team is busy working on that now. Of course, those transactions will attract a fee, but the convenience will be, I think, tremendous. And I know that you're all looking forward to that. While I'm on
Yeah.
the floor, if I could just
Yeah.
address a
Please.
question that Veronica Tate raised earlier, that the fraud alert works, but when the fraud is an inside job, how does the activation work? Well,
Mm.
the activation is automated so that even if it's an inside job, that other institutions have, or financial institutions have from time to time, uh, the activation, the fraud alert would go out, and so you would be prompted. And so we have found that the incidents of fraud have been on the decline in VM. And
Mm.
we kind of set ourselves an annual limit to say we shouldn't have more than X dollars in fraud, and every year that's been getting lower and lower. So we're pleased
Mm.
about the effectiveness of those alerts and the other mechanisms that we have implemented.
Yeah. And another question by someone said, I'll just pick up a question. Why do they make it so difficult to open an account? I said, why do they? I don't sure it's VMBS, but why do they make it so difficult?
I tell you what, it's all financial institutions, whether bank, building society, wealth management, insurance. The challenge is that we wish to know our customers upfront.
Mm.
So it's called the know your customer process. And it's to ensure that we are not facilitating money laundering, right, or financing of terrorism, that we comply with the laws in that regard. But also, because we're able to know you better, it helps us to serve you better, to be
Mm.
able to match your needs with the solutions that we have. So it does take a little more time.
Yeah.
We know that, but we think for the long run, it's a better thing to do because we're able to satisfy your needs better just because we know it. Just like when you go to a doctor, you don't want the doctors who just spend 5 minutes. They might
Mm.
check your temperature and nothing else. I trust the doctors who do a more thorough, examination, so that they understand me better and are able to serve me better.
Yeah. If you don't mind,
Silvan,
please
Silvan,
go ahead.
can I just
Go
weigh
ahead.
in?
Go ahead.
So I really like that question because
Mm.
in my space, especially in the wealth management side, it is very important that we understand our customers. For
Mm.
example, persons will hear about how the Jamaican Stock Exchange is performing, top performing stock exchange, IPOs are doing well, etc. But if we do not understand your risk appetite, we may incorrectly make recommendations for you
Yes.
based on your risk appetite. So we really do want to understand, a lot more about your risk appetite, your objectives, um, and also, even the frequency of contact. Some persons would like to be contacted whenever
Mm.
when opportunity provides, avails itself. Other clients simply would want to be contacted once per year. So it's very important that that bit of information is provided. We
Mm.
will also know, your in terms of the value of your transactions. So
Sure.
when things are all right, we can say, well, what's happening here? This
Yes.
is outside the usual activity for Silburn.
Mm.
Let's investigate, etc. So I know it's a bugbear, but as you can see, there's a lot of value provided by just taking some time to provide us with that information.
Yeah. Somebody said to me, and it goes around a lot from the diaspora and from people overseas, is that my account went dormant. How can I stay overseas and take it out of dormant status, or do I have to go to Jamaica directly? Silly of me to ask a question because Leighton is here. I can go straight to Brixton or wherever. But I'm just putting it out there for general people. Yeah.
No, you're able to reactivate it from the UK. Call into the offices we mentioned earlier, and into the member engagement center. We have a
Mm.
process for doing it remotely, for executing the reactivation remotely. So that's for the convenience of our members. So please
Mm.
go ahead and call.
Okay. And one more question from Doreen Phipps. She's here in the UK. Why is that customers are now being charged £5 to send $200 from a UK account to their VMBS saving account in Jamaica?
Well, remember, we are using correspondent banks to facilitate the transfers.
Hmm.
So in this case, in the case of transfers from the UK, I think our correspondent bank is Citi. So
Yeah.
there is a fee that we incur when
Mhm.
our members use that facility, and so we're just passing on the charge to you.
Yes, yes. And you're not making anything off of that, really,
No,
but you got it.
that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Can I just ask in closing, sir? What's your last word that you want to give to us in the UK or generally
I,
Jamaicans in the
I'll allow
diaspora?
Rez to go. I'll allow Rez to go first.
Yes.
Okay, thanks, Silburn.
Yes.
Firstly, we have spent the last 52 minutes talking about VM and talking about the strength of the organization, how transparent we are, and how we are constantly putting in place mechanisms to protect our clients' investments,
Mm.
but even beyond protection, providing the appropriate advice, etc., for them to evolve and grow financially. So I think that's a key takeaway that I like persons
Mm.
to note. Second thing I'd like persons to note is that that the VM group is well capitalized, but also beyond that, also quite transparent. I spoke about the fact that our financial information is on our website, both for the VM Investments Limited, VM Wealth Management, in terms of
Mm.
providing information to the FSC, and the VM Group providing information to the Bank of Jamaica, quarterly reports from VMIL, annual reports for VMBS and VM Investments Limited. And then I also want to plug our client management portal. Want to say to persons, use the portal. It will save you, quite a bit in terms of your angst,
Mm.
anxiety. You can go on at any time, at any point in time, to see your transactions, see your statements. And again, we would welcome and certainly really want to do this, ensure that we have conversations periodically, so that we can understand your needs and be able to better serve your needs. So thank you.
Yeah. Courtney, I'm not going to release it yet because a couple questions came in on WhatsApp. I'll be watching it. But Rika is asking, could you kindly have the contact number to reactivate dormant account, please? And I think I'll set the toll free UK number there for her to actually. She's in the UK as well. A quick question: how will the introduction of Jamaica's national identification card system ease VM's customer onboarding process, Mr. Campbell?
It should definitely make it easier because the idea is that to be issued with the NIDS
Mm.
card, you will have to satisfy all the know your customer processes that we currently ask you to do, so that we will have that assurance from the authorities that they
Mm.
have done that. That Silburn Sidel is who he says he is. So
Yes. Yes.
we expect that it will significantly simplify and shorten the process.
Mm.
It's a good thing for the account opening process.
Yeah. And if I can answer Michelle Clark, only from the UK, what if I live in the USA that is activating the account? Is that the
No,
same number
applicable for people living anywhere in the world.
anywhere in the world?
Yes,
There you go, Michelle. It's
Canada,
applicable. Mm.
UK, Africa, Asia, rural Jamaica, right? Anywhere.
Yes, yes. Even from Ocherios, even if it's from
Right.
street or Ochi. Yeah. Sir Courtney Campbell, your last word, sir, before we wrap up, sir.
Well, first of all, thank you
Mm.
for hosting us, hosting Reza and
Yes, sir.
myself. Thank you
Yes.
for the support that you have given to our team in the UK, led by
Yes, sir.
Leighton Smith. We have a fantastic team, but they
Yes.
do great work because they're the partner with people like you and with your viewers and listeners. So thanks for that support. Just want to say in
Mm.
closing that the VM Group, we have 144 years of excellent service,
Mm.
you know, in our history. And we are building on that. The group is getting stronger and better. In recent years, we have introduced new products, new business lines, new service delivery channels. We have some exciting developments in the
Mm.
pipeline, right? And so, one of the exciting things that we have is that we expect to be doing more and more business in the diaspora. The
Mm.
diaspora's market is increasingly important for us,
Yes,
so
sir.
that we would want you to reach out to us, yes, to make queries about your accounts, but also if you'd like us to address a group in your neighborhood, of other Caribbean people who are interested in investing in the Caribbean,
Mm.
please speak with us. Please contact us and let us know. We
Yeah.
want to reach out to new markets in North America, new markets in the UK. So please give us the information so
Yes.
that we can be in contact with you. So the last thing I'll do is to just leave with you the contact numbers. If you're calling toll free from the USA or Canada, it's 1-866-967-8627. If
Mm-hmm.
it's from the UK, it's 0800 068 VMBS, that's 8627 again. So from
Yeah.
USA or Canada, 1-866-967-8627. From the UK, 0800-068-8627. The email is manager@myvmgroup.com. That's manager@myvmgroup.com. Thank you very, very much, Silver, and thank you
Thank you.
for everyone and for joining us. And we're
Sure, sure.
looking forward to serving you to help you to invest in Jamaica, to help you to buy buying stocks, bonds, residential property,
Yes,
commercial property, motor vehicles, right?
yes.
Saving here. We're looking forward to onboarding all of you.
Well, my classmate in Otrio, Shami McConnell, who's my classmate, always say, Silburn, what's going on, man? What's going on? What's going on? Send the money. you know. So I gotta keep that link definitely. And with Leighton, well, I want to thank you so much, Mr. Burchenson, Rez, and Courtney Campbell for coming on at so short notice and to expand and to explore what VM Mutual is about. VM Mutual Group, VM Group,
VM Group. Yep.
VM Group is about,
VM Group.
and yes, and it will definitely assist many persons and people watch this on the replay, and we promote this as much as possible. I want to thank you so much. Have a good evening in Jamaica. Enjoy the Sunday evening,
Okay.
and go to the beach and everything.
All the best.
All the best. Bye, Rez,
Good.
and
Bye,
bye,
Silver.
Mr.
Thanks,
Campbell.
thanks.
Thank you,
Thanks for
sir.
having me.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Bye, bye, bye. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for tonight. Thank you so much for those who joined me tonight on Instagram, those on Instagram who came over on YouTube, those on Facebook, and those on YouTube as well for coming on. Thank you so much for Leighton for supporting and to give answers to the persons, to Doreen, to Rika. Rika, great show. Thank you very much. Veronica Tate, and all persons and those who are going to be watching back on the replay. I want to thank you so much. And one of the things that I picked up on is it all depends on what you listen to. But Jamaica is a strong place, and with persons there in Jamaica doing things and actually working hard to make Jamaica a stronger place and a better Jamaica, I don't think we can go wrong. So just because of a few bad eggs or so, come on, it's a few bad eggs, but Jamaica is a massive place. So all I can say is look up, guys, and to be encouraged as much as possible regarding Jamaica. But thank you very much, and have a good night. And definitely, we will see you again on the other side. And all the best. Peace out. And what should I say? Boom.